This is 7 News at 6 with Chris Barth.
Good evening tonight from Winmalee in the Blue Mountains, where we've had some light rain today. It's still falling at the moment, but nowhere near enough to ease the bushfire emergency. Tomorrow's forecast is even worse than first feared. Hotter and drier with 100-kilometre-an-hour wind gusts. That's as bad as it gets, according to fire chiefs. And even though they've merged deliberately the Mount Victoria and Lithgow fires to control them better, they fear more homes and lives could be lost tomorrow. 7 News has the latest on the fires, the weather and inspiring stories from the people caught up in this emergency.
Any hope that today's cooler conditions meant a respite was soon dispelled by this. The Springwood blaze rated out of control, burning with renewed fury and dangerously close to property. It's already destroyed 100 homes here. Today, 3 local nursing homes were evacuated. 33 schools closed across the mountains, as well as kindergartens and childcare centres, in preparation for those worsening conditions tomorrow, hotter, drier and windier.
The forecast and scenario for tomorrow is about as bad as it gets.
Overnight, further north near Bilpin, ember showers from the state mine fire created another emergency. Backburning operations were suspended while helicopters tried to douse the uncontrolled blaze. Elsewhere, backburning continued to establish a buffer zone between active fires and property, a task made harder by light rain overnight.
I reckon there's probably only a couple of mil in it. Probably really didn't do a lot for us. It actually made, believe it or not, things a little bit harder to ignite.
At Lithgow, emergency crews were briefed on the day's tasks.
There's still a bit of work to do on the Southern Division.
RFS and SES crews sent door to door to ensure residents have an evacuation plan.
Tonight is the night. Now is the time. You need to sit down, refresh yourself with your bushfire survival plan.
And if people intend to leave, then leave early.
And what I mean by that is tomorrow morning before lunch.
His troops also reinforcing the message that the worst is yet to come.
We'll be door-knocking residents to warn them about the weather that's coming tomorrow, the horror weather conditions.
It's not their job to force evacuations, but if it comes to that, police are on hand.
My principal focus is on saving life tomorrow.
Many residents will leave happily and travel lightly.
I don't think material things are that important, as long as the family is safe.
Now here's the big picture in the mountains region this evening. There are 5 fires of concern. They've merged the state mine fire with the Mount Victoria fire to make it easier to manage. There's of course the fire around Springwood at Winmalee, which has already caused trouble. Now those hot northerly winds could push this fire into this one, which spells real trouble. A little further to the east there's the Hawkesbury Road fire and the Castlereagh fire. They are under control for now, but they are close to settled areas. Some 2,000 firefighters are involved, many exhausted, but at least they're well fed by eager volunteers. Doreen's been doing this for 40 years. Why?
Because I like to look after the firefighters. They deserve to be looked after.
Up to 700 reinforcements are here from interstate, including these Victorian CFA crews from places like Kyneton, Gisborne, Lake Boga, here to repay a few favours.
We're to help the New South Wales. I guess they've been in to help us, we're helping them.
And the forecast suggests we'll need all the help we can get. Mark Ferguson, 7 News.
So the biggest threats are that so-called state mine fire centred on Bell and the Springwood blaze. Hugh Whitfield has been covering Bell's line of road. Hugh, are firefighters ready for tomorrow's challenge?
Taking advantage of the cooler weather, building containment lines, but the light rain today hasn't helped. In fact, it's made backburning harder. Now, I've just spoken to the incident controller. He says they've done all they can ahead of tomorrow's horror forecast. Dry winds here up to 90 kilometres an hour. Fortunately, though, reinforcements are on their way. They're due here tomorrow morning to back up exhausted crews. Above a weary Lithgow, fire still rings the town as firefighters enter a 7th day of battling to protect homes.
We're all pretty tired. Our whole brigade, along with everybody else, are feeling the pinch at the moment.
Victorian crews arrived to provide relief for exhausted locals at Mount Wilson. The picturesque community, brimming with history, has been under threat for days.
We're all depending on each other, and it's one of the things about this community that we all just love.
Almost everyone here is in the RFS. Those that aren't are still hard at work, making hundreds of meals in this tiny kitchen.
For breakfast, lunch, dinner, morning tea, afternoon tea and snacks at night.
Light rain fell across the fireground this morning, but not enough to put this huge fire out. It's now merged with the Mount Victoria blaze, a deliberate move, crews preferring to fight one blaze now rather than two tomorrow.
There's still a bit of work to do on the Southern Division around Hartley Vale.
The fire was downgraded to watch and act this morning, but the district is still in emergency mode. Access to Lithgow and Mount Victoria is still cut off ahead of tomorrow's bad forecast. It's feared even more homes will come under threat. Steve Douglas managed to save his when fire roared through his place at Dargan, even after an ember attack.
And if that's the worst damage, we've got to be some of the luckiest people in this fire.
His wife agrees and has a message for the crews who helped.
I can hear them now saying, why would you live there? Why wouldn't I live here? It's my home.
Hugh Whitfeld, 7 News.